Madam Speaker, yesterday was a very important and I think will be remembered as a notorious day in the history of the United States workforce for two reasons. First of all, it was the one-year anniversary of Julie Su being installed as acting Secretary of Labor. Ms. Su was the Labor Secretary in California for Gavin Newsom. During her tenure, California had the worst unemployment in the country. California has had the highest poverty rate, the lowest level of wage growth in the country. She was responsible for $31 billion in fraud at the state's unemployment department, and she was the architect of one of the worst laws in our state, or truly our country's history, known as AB 5. Unfortunately, President Biden thought this was a good resume to be the new Secretary of Labor, so he nominated her last year. And the administration set up a war room inside of the White House to get her confirmed. It was a very, very aggressive campaign to convince senators to confirm her. And yet, after all of that, the Senate rejected her nomination. It was never brought to the floor for a vote. There was bipartisan opposition. And at the end of the year, the Senate returned the nomination to President Biden, not having confirmed Ms. Su. And yet, she remains as Secretary of Labor, acting Secretary of Labor, and has just passed her one-year anniversary. This is truly a lawless situation, an end run around the advice and consent process in the United States Constitution. And the fact that Ms. Su has been there for a year, despite the Senate rejecting her nomination, despite the White House doing everything they possibly could to get her confirmed, and the Senate still refusing to confirm her, is an insult to our Constitution and to our workers and to the American people. But it just so happened that on the very day that Ms. Su marked her one-year anniversary as the unconfirmed acting Secretary of Labor, the new rule that her department has proposed, the independent contractor rule, which is modeled on Gavin Newsom and Julie Su's AB 5 law from California, went into effect. Now, AB 5 has been a complete and utter disaster for our state. It's caused folks in over 600 different professions to lose their livelihood, their ability to make a living. What the new rule does, like AB 5, is significantly restrict one's ability to be an independent contractor, to work on your own terms, to be your own boss, to be able to set your own schedule. And in many industries and for many people, if you don't have that ability, then your entire enterprise or business model becomes non-viable, which is exactly what happened in California. After AB 5 went into effect, or even before that, in late 2019, early 2020, you had all kinds of people that suddenly had lost their ability to earn a living. And now, a few years later, we recently got some empirical evidence for this as well out of George Mason University, which studied the employment effects in California, specifically of AB 5. And what the study found is that it decreased self-employment by 10% and decreased overall employment by 4%, which might be one reason why just today, with the new job numbers out, Californians' unemployment rate has ticked up again. It's at 5.2%. It is the second highest unemployment rate in the entire country. Now, Ms. Su's independent contractor rule is modeled on AB 5 in California. President Biden cited AB 5 as his model for labor relations nationwide. It's worth noting, by the way, that AB 5 has become so toxic, so infamous, that when I asked Ms. Su about it in committee, she wouldn't even opine on whether it was a good law. She said she didn't know, had no opinion on the matter. She was the architect and lead enforcer of that very law. But the new independent contractor rule that the administration is proposing is also creating an extraordinary amount of uncertainty. It has 6 different factors. In fact, more than that. It places an extraordinary amount of discretion in the enforcer, that is in Ms. Su, the very architect of AB 5. By the way, AB 5 was so bad in California that over 100 different professions were exempted, and they are not exempted in this new independent contractor rule from the Department of Labor. So when I asked in a recent hearing the head of the Wage and Hour Division, Does this apply to various different professions? She could not give an answer to any of them. I asked her about realtors, a couple million realtors in this country. Can they be considered independent contractors? And she couldn't say. So this new rule is about to throw our entire workforce into chaos. Fortunately, it has already invited 4 different lawsuits that are proceeding in different parts of the country. On account of those legal challenges, I wrote a letter to Ms. Sue yesterday saying, at the very least, obviously she should withdraw the rule, but at the very least, given the pendency of this litigation, she ought to put the rule on hold until the matter is litigated, until these challenges, which are based on the process, which are based on statute, which are based on the Constitution and due process, until they can be heard so that the affected individuals will not be in this whiplash depending upon what the courts do and what the department decides to do from that moment forward. I wrote that letter to Ms. Sue yesterday with it being the effective date of the new rule. But beyond that, I have also introduced legislation under the Congressional Review Act. The Congressional Review Act allows for a fast-tracked piece of legislation to nullify a rule or regulation that's been put out by a department or agency like this one. And so my Congressional Review Act resolution simply nullifies and stops this new rule propounded by the Department of Labor. We already have 54 co-sponsors for this legislation, and it will be marked up in committee very soon. And I'm strongly urging my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to join me in passing this legislation to take back Congress's rightful authority over this area and to prevent our workforce from being thrown into chaos at a time when the American economy simply cannot afford it.